Hey everyone, and welcome back to The Deep Read. I'm Mike,
And I'm Emily.
and we're so glad you could join us for another deep dive into a book we think you'll find as captivating as we did.
Today we're exploring Wandering Stars,
The second book from Tommy Orange.
the author of the acclaimed There.
In Wandering Stars, Orange weaves together a constellation
Oh, I like that. A constellation.
of interconnected stories.
That illuminate the complexities of Native American identity in contemporary Oakland, California.
And I don't think I'm exaggerating when I say the opening scene alone is just...
Oh, it's gripping.
It's breathtakingly powerful.
You're talking about Charles Starr on that train, right?
Exactly.
With his hair chained, passing those piles of buffalo bones.
It's such a visceral image.
It's brutal.
And it throws you right into the heart of colonization's devastating impact.
And that's just the beginning of Charles's story.
It's a story that takes us from the horrors of the Sand Creek Massacre.
To the forced assimilation of Fort Marion, where he becomes a prisoner of war.
Could you imagine the trauma?
It's unimaginable.
And then to add insult to injury, they try to strip him of his identity.
Even giving him a new name, Jude?
The Carlisle Indian Industrial School, which the book references.
It was just one of many institutions founded on this horrific principle of killing the Indian to save the man.
It's a chilling thought, isn't it?
They believed they could erase an entire culture.
Through forced assimilation,
Education.
and religious conversion.
And that forced conversion becomes a pivotal part of Jude's story.
He learns to read the Bible in prison.
And it seems to awaken something within him.
He even regains his voice after years of silence.
It's both fascinating and a little unsettling.
Right.
Like, is it a miracle?
A psychological breakthrough.
Or maybe a combination of both?
It's one of those moments in the book that really makes you stop and think.
It raises all these questions about the role of faith and spirituality.
Especially when confronting such profound trauma.
How do you reconcile the beliefs of your ancestors with the religion forced upon you?
It's a tension that many of the characters grapple with throughout the story.
Absolutely.
And you see it so clearly with Jude and his wife, Hannah.
They have this deep love for each other.
But their spiritual paths diverge.
Hannah finds solace in traditional Christian practices.
While Jude is drawn to the peyote church.
It's like they're searching for different forms of healing.
In different ways.
Yeah, and what's interesting is that their differing beliefs don't tear them apart.
Which is refreshing, isn't it?
You don't always see that kind of nuance.
They find a way to coexist.
Even if they don't fully understand each other's paths.
It speaks to the complexity of their relationship.
And the idea that belonging can exist even amidst differences.
And then there's Jude's struggle with alcohol. His attempt to find his place as a policeman in a world that seems to reject him. And this deep yearning to connect with his heritage.
He even tries to write about his father's experiences.
And reach out to Richard Henry Pratt.
The very founder of the Carlisle School.
It's like he's constantly fighting to reclaim the pieces of himself that were stolen.
Trying to make sense of his fractured identity.
Struggling to reconcile the life he was forced to live.
With the heritage that was nearly erased.
And that struggle, that burden, is something that many of the characters carry.
And it leads us right into the aftermath section of the book.
Which we'll dive into after a quick break.
But before we do,
I'm curious, what were your initial reactions to Charles Starr's story?
did anything in particular stand out to you? So as we move into aftermath,
Yeah.
the second part of the book, we start to see how this historical trauma ripples out across generations.
It's powerful stuff.
It really is.
It's like Orange is drawing these invisible lines.
Yeah, connecting the past to the present.
Showing how those wounds just...
Continue to shape the lives
Yeah.
of Charles's descendants.
Absolutely. And we see that so clearly with Opal Viola
Charles's lover.
and the mother of his child, Victoria.
Her strength is incredible.
She flees with Charles's body after he's killed.
And then gives birth to their daughter while on the run.
Talk about resilience.
It's remarkable.
In the face of unimaginable hardship.
Opal's story.
Yeah.
It really highlights the strength of Native women.
It does.
They carry so much weight.
Literally and figuratively.
And yet they persevere.
They do.
And what struck me about Opal's story
Yeah.
is that even amidst all this tragedy, she finds love and connection.
She does.
We learn about her time at the Carlisle School,
Right?
where she actually met and fell in love with Charles.
Yeah, it adds another layer of complexity to the whole narrative,
It does.
showing how these institutions,
Right, these places designed to break people
yeah,
could also become unexpected places of love and resistance.
it really makes you question that simple narrative of good versus evil, doesn't it?
It does.
Because even within these oppressive systems,
Yeah.
there were these moments of humanity.
Glimmers of defiant.
Yeah, and then we shift to Victoria Bear Shield,
Charles and Opal's daughter.
navigating life
Yeah.
as a young Native woman in Oakland.
Right.
And it's like we're seeing the legacy of their trauma
Hmm.
and their resilience.
Playing out in her life.
It's fascinating.
And this is where Orange brings the story right into the present. He starts exploring the contemporary challenges faced by Native Americans.
Especially in an urban setting.
Exactly, Victoria's story.
Yeah.
Along with the stories of the other characters we meet in Oakland, they underscore the fact that this historical trauma,
Right.
it isn't something confined to the past.
No.
It lives on in the present,
It does.
impacting their relationships, their sense of identity, even their physical and mental health.
You mentioned other characters in Oakland.
Right.
And I have to say, the way Orange introduces this new generation is brilliant.
It is.
We have Sean Price, Orville Redfeather, Loney, and Luther,
Yeah.
all connected in some way to Charles's lineage,
Right.
all struggling with addiction identity and the weight of their family history.
They're caught in this web woven by the past,
That's a good way to put it.
trying to break free.
But constantly getting tangled.
And the powwow scene where Orville gets shot,
Oh, man.
that's such a pivotal moment.
It is.
It shatters this illusion of safety,
Right.
reminding everyone, including the reader,
Yeah.
that violence is always lurking,
Always there.
threatening to disrupt their lives, their attempts at healing their sense of community.
I feel like that scene was like a microcosm of the larger societal issues at play.
It is.
You know, it's a reminder that even in spaces meant for celebration and cultural connection,
Right.
there's this underlying tension, this vulnerability stemming from years of oppression and marginalization.
And you see that tension manifest in different ways for each character.
Yeah.
Loney, for example.
Mm-hmm.
He's fascinated by his Cheyenne heritage,
Yeah.
but struggles to connect with it in a meaningful way.
Right.
He tries these rituals like burying his blood.
Which is both compelling and unsettling, right?
Yes.
It's a tough one.
It raises all sorts of questions about what it means to reclaim your heritage,
Right.
to find your place within a culture that's been fragmented and nearly erased.
And then there's Orville,
Yeah.
caught in the throes of addiction.
It's heartbreaking to watch his descent,
It is.
especially knowing that his friend Sean is the one supplying him with drugs.
It really highlights the complexity of their relationship.
It does.
There's genuine care there
Mm-hmm.
and loyalty,
Yeah,
but it's all overshadowed by the destructive power of addiction.
absolutely.
It's a reminder that even those closest to us
Right.
can unintentionally contribute to our pain.
And yet, amidst all this darkness,
Yeah.
there are these glimmers of hope.
You see Orville finding solace in music,
Yeah.
Jackie fighting to stay sober.
And reconnect with her family.
It's true they offer these glimpses of resilience,
I do.
these reminders that even when faced with overwhelming odds,
Mm-hmm.
it's possible to find healing and redemption.
They represent those who are fighting to break the cycle of trauma,
Yeah.
to reclaim their agency and forge their own paths.
And that leads us to Loney's letter from the road
Yes, such a powerful symbol of hope.
and the possibility of reconciliation.
Loney, who ran away to escape the pain,
Mm-hmm.
reaches out to his family,
He does.
expressing this longing for connection and understanding.
The beautiful moment.
It suggests that even when families are fractured,
Yeah.
there's always the potential for healing, for finding their way back to each other.
It's a powerful message.
It leaves us with a glimmer of optimism,
It does.
but it also raises these questions about whether true reconciliation is possible.
When the past continues to cast such a long shadow,
Yeah. What do you think? Can you truly come home?
when the wounds of history are still so raw,
Yeah.
it's a question that stays with you, doesn't it?
It does.
Can you ever truly escape the weight of history?
I don't know.
Wandering Stars doesn't offer any easy answers.
No, it doesn't.
And I think that's what makes it so powerful.
I agree.
It forces you to confront these really complex issues.
Yeah, like trauma.
Identity
Okay.
without trying to tie everything up neatly.
Right. It leaves you with more questions than answers.
And what's so remarkable about Tommy Orange's writing is his ability to portray these struggles with such honesty and empathy.
Yeah, he doesn't shy away from the darkness.
No, he doesn't.
But he also illuminates these moments of resilience
Right, those little sparks of hope.
that keep the characters going.
And the reader going, too.
Absolutely, you really feel like you're on this journey with them.
Experiencing their pain, their anger.
But also their love, their humor.
Their deep connection to their culture.
Yeah, it's a reminder that even in the face of such immense hardship,
The human spirit can endure.
and I think that's what makes this book so relevant to our world today.
You know, it's not just a story about Native Americans.
Right. It's a story about what it means to be human.
To grapple with the complexities of identity, to search for belonging in a world that often feels fractured and divided.
It's a story for all of us.
It is, it really is.
Wandering Stars is a book that stays with you long after you finish reading it.
It does.
It prompts you to think critically about the world around you.
To question assumptions.
And to challenge the narrative that have been used to silence and marginalize certain groups.
It's a powerful call to action,
It is.
reminding us of the importance of listening to those whose stories have been ignored or erased,
To acknowledge the injustices of the past.
and to work towards a future where everyone has the opportunity to heal and thrive.
So as we wrap up our deep dive into Wandering Stars, we'd love to hear your thoughts.
What resonated most with you?
What questions or insights did this book spark for you?
Leave us a comment below, and let's continue the conversation.
And if you enjoyed this deep dive,
Make sure to subscribe to The Deep Read.
and tell your friends about the show,
We're here every week
exploring new worlds.
and unpacking complex ideas together.
Until next time.
Happy reading, everyone.